Having been in this House for just over 2.5 years now, I know that much of the work here that happens here is really important and very serious, but also much of it is performative. And that is what we have had here in this debate. A matter of public importance, housing affordability certainly is, but this debate is purely performative. And we know that because those opposite not only failed to help with housing affordability when they were in government for 9 years, they've also failed to back key measures that we've introduced to help with housing affordability. So if you take that as a whole, failed to act when they were in government, failed to back bills that we've introduced to help with housing affordability, then what can we surmise about this debate? It is purely performative. They are not here to have a serious discussion about what we should be doing to help with housing and affordability. Because let's look at their two policies that they are bringing forward. One is to assist in providing additional funding for supporting infrastructure, no additional funds to build the homes, mind you, and the other is to get people to raid their super funds, their retirement incomes, the two policies that they've brought forward. As with all other things from those opposite, they always sit on their hands when there's an opportunity to actually do something. With cost of living, did they back all Australian taxpayers to get a tax cut? No. Did they back cheaper energy bills? No. What have they backed? Lunches for bosses. And we are reminded of the mantra that they use over and over again. If you don't pay for it, you don't value it. They've demonstrated with their actions when they were in government for 9 years and their actions now that they also don't value housing affordability, helping Australians to get into homes, because they didn't back our $10 billion Housing Affordability Future Fund. And I note that the previous member talked about homelessness for women, particularly older women. Well, I'll tell you what will help those older women into homes. It's the Housing Australia Affordability Fund. And that fund was going to build 30,000 homes. We'll be building 30,000 homes. 4,000 of those homes were going to be set aside for vulnerable women. That is the practical help you can provide as a government, is to actually build homes for vulnerable older women. We know that there is a housing affordability crisis. I know it acutely because I live in Sydney and it's considered the second least affordable housing market in the world behind Hong Kong. And it's a challenge for Sydney-siders. I hear about it in my electorate. But it hasn't always been this way. So we have to ask the question, how did we get here? And we got here not because of the actions of this government. We got here because there has been a failure by coalition governments at the federal and state levels to take this problem seriously. Housing affordability does not spring up overnight. It brews and brews for years and years. Part of the problem is supply. Part of the problem is getting more people to build those homes. Part of the problem is getting appropriate infrastructure. But it is, unfortunately, a perfect storm that has been brewing for a really long time. And we have unfortunately had a coalition government that has been completely uninterested in trying to solve it. So I'm glad that I'm now part of an Albanese Labor government that is addressing it head-on. And while the coalition have spent this entire parliament blocking the Labor government's plan to get thousands of Australians into their own homes, Labor has a simple belief, and that is that ordinary Australians should be able to own their own home. And we're helping more people buy their first home with smaller deposits through the Home Guarantee Scheme and smaller mortgages under our Help to Buy scheme. And these programs will help thousands of people get into their own homes sooner. And the key part of this as well is to build more homes. And like I said, that is our #1 priority, to build more homes.